Hi guys, welcome back to A Voice in the Influence. It is your girl Tykeisha T. Lemons, and I am here with another episode of A Voice in the Influence. And today is a different type of episode because we are talking about my blog. We are talking about the blog for the month of February. And the title of that blog is called Love is a Commitment. Now, what made me pick this topic was really like it wasn't so easy to identify like, hey, yeah, that's what's going to be the topic. Love is a commitment. I really had an epiphany. Like, seriously, I had an epiphany because I had been through a lot in my life. Let's just be clear, and I'm just going to keep it up front. I've been through a lot in my life, and I found it very hard for me to stay consistent and committed to certain things. And I often question myself, like, why is it so hard for me to stay committed? Like, what is it? What is it? And I didn't find out the answer until I began to love me more, until I began to seek love and start to understand what love is. And without any question or any guessing, love is God. Love is God. And how I began to love me and cultivate the love with God is by asking questions to God, by getting to know myself better, by getting to know who am I, what was I created for, and why am I so afraid to walk in my purpose? Like, I've known for years that I've been called to speak to the nations. I've known for years that I've been called to preach the word of God. I've known for years that that was my calling. But to be real, I ran from it. And I ran from it because of this idea and the context of the Love is a Commitment blog. The whole context wraps around the subconscious mind. I had been through so many different things in my past. I was talked about maybe every day at school with my peers. I began to become influenced to pick up different characteristics that I did not learn in my home, but that I learned outside of my home. And I began to allow those things to really create a culture of what I did on a daily basis. So what that looks like in reality is you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go to the gym 3 days of a week, right? But the day that you're supposed to go, you begin to have these thoughts in your mind. Oh, you're tired. You've worked all week. You can sleep in. And you don't pay the thoughts any mind, but you ended up sleeping in. And you don't go to the gym. And then you look in the mirror and you wonder why you look the way that you look. And it's because you haven't stayed committed to yourself. Or you tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to save X amount of money and that's just what I'm going to do. And then you have a thought, oh, it's the weekend. I need to go, maybe go buy a pair of new shoes. I'm going to this new party and I really don't want to wear anything that I have in my closet. So I'm just going to go and purchase these things, And you didn't even think about the fact that you committed and said that you were going to save X amount of money. But now, since you've had these subconscious thoughts come up in your mind about, to purchase something new and you have the funds, you go ahead and go do it. But you're not being committed. You're not staying committed to what you said you were going to do. And so in context, the Love is Commitment blog, it wraps around this context of the subconscious mind, and it goes really deep because it talks about how the school system has developed an institution to really program your subconscious mind into following behind what someone else tells you to do, right? Because we know when you're in school, you have a curriculum, you have, a set of rules, set of standards that are expected of you, and this is what you are to do. But see, when you think about the school system and starting at the age of 5, right? Most people start in school at the age of 5 because that's when kindergarten begins, and that is what the law says, that children must be in school by the age of 5. You must go to kindergarten, right? And I go deep. I talk about theory, and we get into how a child's mind at the age of 5 can't even understand someone else's perspective. So at that age, when you're being programmed to do what someone else is telling you to do, you have numbed down your emotions and your feelings, and all of a sudden you pay less attention to what you feel, and that becomes a memory stashed in the data bank of the subconscious mind, right? And as that happens and absorbs in your life, and you begin to develop and you begin to evolve, you can't understand why you're doing certain things. Why am I not staying committed? Why am I constantly drinking when I know that it is ruining my relationship? Why am I constantly showing up to late work when I know that I have bills to pay and it could jeopardize the survival of my family and my system at home, what I got going on? If I can't go to work, then I can't pay the bills, okay? So the Love of Commitment blog, it goes really in depth to give you this picture of how your subconscious mind could really be the reason why you have not committed to love. And see, the truth of the matter is, what I had to realize through my journey is that until I learned to love me, I couldn't effectively love no one else. I would run from problems as soon as things happened in my life. It became hard. I began to run. And I thought about it. Maybe that's because when I was in school, or maybe even it started in the home. You know, sometimes, you know, things start in the home, the structure and things, and you can't process it. And so it can leave a bad taste in your mouth, or should I say a bad memory that is surrounded, and a bad memory and all of the energy that goes into our thoughts. You know what I mean? There's thoughts and there's our energy that's wrapped around in our thoughts, and that become a memory bank that is attached to our subconscious mind. And so when we begin to move in the world, we begin to move from the lesser part of ourselves, because see, our conscious mind, we're only conscious probably about 10% of the 100% of mind that we have. Our mind is broken into two hemispheres. And so it's very, very important that you begin to understand how your mind and your subconscious mind works together, and to begin to understand why you do what you do. There's a reason why you do what you do. You're not doing what you do just because hey, this is just what I choose to do. Okay, but that choice came from a thought. It came from some type of, I would say, some type of energy. Do you know if it was positive, negative? You know, we tend to break things, split things into two in terms of good and bad. Do we know where that thought stemmed from? See, that is what we have to get to the bottom of. And I mentioned that the Love is a Commitment blog. It really focuses on learning to identify why you do what you do. It's an idea that I bring into context, focusing on the American dream and also pinpointing the subconscious mind with the educational system, and also understanding what love is. Love is God. God is love. Without God, there is no love. Jesus gave us the ultimate sacrifice of a representation of what love is. And so it's important that through our living on this earth, that we really begin to identify love and begin to first learn to love ourselves by creating those boundaries, by learning to identify who we are, what we are, and where we're going, so that things that come up against us on our journey, we don't become confused by them. Because most of the times they're just distractions, right? But when we're committed to love and we're committed to loving ourselves, we can get there much quicker. We can learn how to love others, and we can also articulate what we're going through and what we're feeling, so that we could be understood, and so that we can continue on the path designed for us. Now, I hope this video shed light on why it is important for you to head over to blog.TykeshaLemons to read my blog for this month. And also, if you are looking for accountability from someone and from a group of believers, a group of people who are committed to living their life better, getting to know themselves better, getting to know God more deeper, and also committed to living their purpose, then go ahead and send me an email at buildingblockstopurpose@gmail.com. That's buildingblockstopurpose@gmail.com. And it's the number 2. Building blocks, the number 2, to purpose@gmail.com. I hope that this message has inspired you, and I hope that you are living your best day, and I hope that you are cultivating your relationship with God, and that you have too become committed to loving yourself so that you can give love more freely and more better for those that are around you. Thanks again for tuning in to A Voice in the Influence. It is your girl, Tykesha T. Lemons, and I focus on the 3 A's. What are the 3 A's? Authenticity, accountability, and attraction. Love, peace, and light.